I started out as a newspaper photographer, actually. That was my
Really?
first professional photography job. And I'm not the kind of person that opens the book and looks at the last page to find out who done it. Not at all. I love the story. I love being in it. I love the process. And it's the same with the aliens. I don't know where they're going when I start one. I just start. And sometimes it just ends up being a mess, and that's okay. You know, I've probably learned something in the process of doing it. Other times things happen that are just, to me, magical, and I really enjoy that kind of wow moment that, oh yeah, oh, I can do this, and it makes that look really cool, you know.
So we get to talk to the amazing lady Ella Carlson, who is the person behind all these wonderful little creatures that we see, and the imagination that just comes to life. And I think, I swear to you, I have seen some of those critters under my bed when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too, actually. I think that's where
Yeah,
they come from, a lot of them, right?
seriously.
They all live in what's called the uncanny valley, where they're close enough to a human that we connect with them, but far enough away that they're a little weird. So, and I like that about them. Exactly. Big fan of the Twilight Zone back then. Big fan of all sorts of science fiction. I love that stuff. I love the imagination that takes. I love saturated colors. I love, things that engage us, the ability to kind of look at something and go, oh, I identify with a certain part of that, and I think that's one of the reasons that my aliens tend to connect with an audience, is that there is some sort of a human connection in every single one of them. One of my very first aliens was actually two pictures a friend sent me from Disney World, texted me, very low res. One was a bathroom sink and one was a white fish. And she said, make a lone image out of this. And that was one of my first aliens, and I did make a lone image out of that. I like the fact that I don't know what's going to happen. Each one comes out different and in unexpected ways sometimes. And I think part of the joy of this journey of being a photographer is the fact that we have those happy accidents and we get to work with beautiful things all the time. I love learning new things, and it just opens up these amazing doors to you. And that's one of the reasons, PPA and all the affiliates are so important, is because they also open up doors of imagination and creativity and technique for people.
Do you suppose that somebody in that class is going to find their alien equivalent? Perhaps that they'll give themselves permission to play and to find an element of their photography, a direction to go that we maybe haven't even ever thought of.
I hope so. I love it when my students do well. And I don't worry about turning out Ella clones. It hasn't happened in 23 years of teaching at UMass. I think it's great if this clicks into a gear for somebody and opens up a new door or a new avenue. Even if they just use the techniques I show to replace an eye of somebody who the eyes are out of focus. They can do that with some of these techniques. If they want to learn how to replace an eye that's closed, if somebody's got one eye closed in a photo shoot, the techniques I'm going to show are probably going to be helpful in doing something like that. I'll show you some of the techniques I used to make the aliens. I'll show you some stuff about compositing. I'll show you some retouching techniques as well, because all of that, one of the things that when I go around and teach workshops about how to do this, one of the things I stress is that it's still the same rules. If I'm taking a portrait of somebody, it's still the same rules that you use for the aliens that you create versus taking a portrait of somebody. The lighting has to be right. It has to be consistent. It has to show certain things. The shadows can't be blocked up, you know, and it has to have that connection. I teach them how to make brushes, and they've made new brushes that help them work more efficiently and get more interesting results. They're using all kinds of layer styles that they weren't using before, because I use a ton of those as well. As a teacher, that's my job, is to make other people more proficient so they can more enjoy what they're doing and get to a higher, more enjoyable and fulfilling place. That's why some of the best artists have little creatures on the top of their monitors to remind them to take the time to play, to take the time to use their creativity, because otherwise this becomes manufacture, and that's just not a lot of fun. So.